Alright, I didn't take any trades today. Well, I accidentally entered a trade, but I exited out of it when I was back at break even. It was like the whole wrong entry, and I'm currently getting left on my trade right now, as you guys can literally see. Yeah, got left on it. I'm literally just watching, to be honest. I'm in a sort of mock trade. I'm just seeing how this new, not new strategy, how this new method is playing out, but I don't really need that, to be honest, because it looks like it's about to get like stopped and ran. But um let's talk about my trade while I literally got left in my trade, and let's talk about my whole daily bias and like what I wanted to see. Um, First things first, my first trade and my first idea of a trade was invalidated because we didn't get any gaps coming into market open. We did on the 2 minute. I have noticed that, but I don't really take 2 minute gaps or 3 minute gaps. I might honestly, I might have to just backtest that just for like a couple months just to see like what the results are with that. But it obviously looks consistent. Anyways, the point is, let's talk about my daily bias. Coming into today, I was pretty bullish. I'm not going to lie, I was actually very bullish. Um, Mainly because one, we were respecting these hourly PD arrays and we were in an uptrend. However, we were in all-time highs and we swept previous day highs, so I was expecting a bit of a relief. And then we also had CPI news data. With CPI news data, we ended up creating an SMT with data highs. So obviously with that, I'm like, okay, we're gonna target data lows. And honestly, I was willing to trade until to get to data lows. Let's talk about my first trade idea that should have been validated, but never presented itself. So coming into market open, we ended up having an SMT pre-market, and then from there we ended up having another manipulation SMT from from 924 high to the 930 high, and then from 924 high to the 930 high as well, since we didn't take out this high. ES just left it alone. So with that being said, we ended up creating a change in the state with this whole series of up close candles. Boom. From there, I was really just looking for a buyback to the upside on either index. Honestly, I was just waiting for a gap fill so I could take it all the way down to data lows. To be completely honest, so my other draw on liquidity besides data lows was this unfilled gap at the moment. So I wanted this unfilled gap as well. So I was willing to take it to data lows and that unfilled gap because SMTs from data highs are usually pretty predominant. Um, and that's what I wanted. So I pretty much waited for a gap. As you can see, when we never got a gap, our highest time frame gap was literally on the 2 minute. I didn't like that so much, and by the time we have already like closed out of the 2 minute, we were already right here, and I didn't like that at all. It looks like we created that that SMT is still holding up, so I'm gonna cancel my limit order, and I'll talk about this limit order that honestly was a really valid trade, but there's an SMT right now that is blocking it crazy. But besides that, we did not get an entry. No entry presented itself, like literally no entry presented itself. I was honestly willing to take it off this breaker block as well, or honestly this breaker block as well, which would have been inside the gap. Um, I didn't like this breaker block. I didn't really like the risk reward, and we also had an unfilled gap. So like whenever we have two PD arrays inside of a gap, I just like that so much. To be honest, I just like gaps. Pause. But I might need to honestly reconsider other forms of entry, such as just a change in the state, and then an SMT and a change in the state, and like a disrespect of a percentage on the fib tool. I might have to like result to that, to be honest, to be more discretional, because I was just waiting and waiting, and it's just not presenting itself. But I mean, it's part of the game, right? Like I said, we ended up did getting that gap fill on the 2 minute on Nasdaq, but I didn't like that at all. We already had our change in the state from here, and then boom, our gap fill. I just didn't like that because, like I said, it's on the 2 minute. I don't really take trades on anything above the 2 minute or 5 minute. I mean, above the 1 minute or 5 minute. So from there, we didn't get our entry, and then price continued to just flit to the face. Ended up taking out data lows and filling out our drawn liquidity. From there, I was willing to have a reversal because I was bullish, like I said from the beginning. I would want to see these high time frame PD rates be respected for me to take it to 10 a.m. high, and after the 10 a.m. candle closed, I was willing to take it to 10 a.m. high. So boom, after price decided to do whatever it was doing, we were literally consolidating for a couple, like not even for a short amount of time. We were consolidating for a good amount of time, like genuinely a good amount of time, and then we also ended up I don't think we created an SMT from. Unless that's what it is. I don't know if we created an SMT, but something caused a reversal here. Maybe it was just time, the 10 a.m. reversal, so it was probably just time for a reversal. From there, we ended up changing the state, and then from there, we ended up inversing this little tiny gap. That wasn't enough for me to enter, honestly. If I had an SMT with the inverse gap with the change of the state, then yeah, I would have entered. But like I said, I usually wait for my gap fills. So as you guys saw, my limit order was literally at the top of the gap fill. Price literally just edged it, dog. Like, are we so serious? Like, this was literally our gap. This is our fair value gap. My limit order was right here. Price literally edged me multiple times, and I don't even think, yeah, it edged to change to the state as well. It edged to change the state as well, and it also edged the gap. So I'm like, okay, bruh, am I really gonna get left on this? And we ended up getting left while ES ended up inversing, and then we also came in and filled in this gap on ES. So I mean, I wouldn't even have liked the trade on ES because on Nasdaq I had more draws on liquidity. I wanted my main draw on liquidity was 10 a.m. high, right? But it's protected by the SMT, the high time from SMT from data highs. But I think we're going to get that relatively soon, to be honest. Um, which we call it? What was I gonna say? 10 a.m. high was the main draw because that's always a strong draw because it's when the 4-hour candle closes and a new one opens, and it's when the hourly closes and a new one opens at the same time, and they're aligning. And also 10 a.m. is really really important. For those reasons, and I'm pretty sure for other reasons as well. I'm not too sure. And then we also had our change to state and inverse gap, and my other draw was this 5 minute gap. I wanted this 5 minute gap right now to tap into because we did not tap into. Like, if I was still short, continuation shorts, I would have wanted this gap to be tapped into within one of these candles after the gap was made, and then we could continue lower. But like I said, I was bullish today, so I really just wanted to see, either I would want to see this gap get ran through earlier, or I would want to target this gap and then target 10 a.m. high. Right now, it looks like we're just rejecting from this gap. We are just chopping. That is just disgusting. Um, but I mean, yeah, this trade was literally just an accidental short. I did not mean to take it. I meant to actually long, and I just decided to wait. And then I set my limit order, and then price decided to just edge me and never come back. That is pretty unfortunate. I'm not going to lie. We're still down on the funded just from yesterday's losses. But it's okay, to be honest. I'm not really tripping, to be completely honest. If anything, my trade right now is still in profit. Like, if I were to be entered, right, my entry was right here. Stop loss was underneath this low. I would have been moved the break even, to be honest. I definitely would have been moved the break even just because of the way we displaced. That SMT is still holding, which is pretty unfortunate. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the trade recap. To be honest, there was really no trades taken today. This was just an accidental short. I ended up literally break even on it, so I'm not really tripping. Um, because I literally just waited like 5 seconds. I was like, oh, I didn't even mean to enter that, and then it was at like 0.00%. So I was like, fire. And I literally exited with no money. So no money gained with that one. This one should have been a trade that I could have honestly probably got break even or actually like tagged into. So that's pretty unfortunate that that didn't happen. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for today's trade recap. Um, I feel like I'm in, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of like losing my talent, but that's just a freaking normal way of like a whole bunch of traders and what they do. And like, I don't know. Apparently, it's a good sign that they're getting better. But I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I've lost my bedazzle type thing. But obviously I know that's not the case because, like I said, this trade should have tagged me in, and this trade should have played out. Like, look, sympathetically it tagged me in. I probably would have been getting fried because, like I said, there's an SMT literally protecting these highs, so I don't like that. Um, excuse me. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. To be completely honest, from you guys, there's really nothing more, nothing less else. Unless we create an SMT from this, that would be kind of crazy. And then we could see, oh, that would have been like a crazy trade if I was like in. But there is no point because if I'm not already in within like 1 to 3 minutes, I don't want it anymore. Um, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys literally tomorrow. Um, what do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow we have PPI, and then core retail sales, and then consumer sentiment. So hopefully tomorrow and the rest of the week should be really really easy. Not really easy, but it should not be bad. Um, right now we just gotta see. I mean, I'm not really tripping to be honest. Like, yeah, I'm down on the funded. I low-key kind of wanted to pass it in like 2 to 3 days. Unfortunately, that was not the case because I literally decided to make some dumb decisions while doing that. But it's definitely teaching me a lot to learn. Because then again, this is my first funded. Um, so if I blow it, it's okay. It was genuinely only $50, but I'm not going in that psychology. I'm really just using this funded as like a way to learn and like how I should be like operating it and how I should be literally just playing it basically, right? Because at the end of the day, funded accounts are just investments, smart investments on how you should be able to, you know, utilize your risk and utilize your trade properly. But I mean, that's pretty much it. To be honest, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.